Three young Muslim students shot to death execution style in North Carolina. Their neighbor in custody and charged with 3 counts of murder. Police say, quote, an ongoing dispute over parking may have been a factor in the shootings, but they do not rule out the possibility of a hate crime. So let's bring in Congressman Keith Ellison. He's the first Muslim elected to Congress and co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Congressman, thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Boy, what a tragedy this whole story is when you hear about the lives of these 3 students. Do you believe that they were targeted because they were Muslim?
I think there are enough facts in the record to pursue that as a line of investigation. There certainly are some facts to indicate that their religion may have been a factor. So I think that it's very important that we pursue this and get to the bottom of it. I am confident, based on my review of the facts, that the parking answer is certainly not the whole story.
And when you say, what are your review of the facts? What are the things that lead you to believe that?
Newspaper articles I've written, and also people who I've talked to in North Carolina, who have told me that there was some history between the people, that there may have been comments about, there may have been some comments referring to, religious clothing, or clothing associated with certain religious practice. And, it's not, what I want to say is that it's prudent for us not to jump to a conclusion, but it's also prudent for us to keep all options open, including the possibility that it was a bias-motivated crime. I just think that I don't want anybody to jump to any conclusion. I want us to keep our minds open and follow the facts where they lead us.
In fact, the suspect's own Facebook posts do tend to point towards him having a problem with religion. It's not clear which religion. I believe he self-identified as an atheist, but he seemed to have a problem with all organized religion. Let me read you his Facebook post. He says, given the enormous harm that your religion has done in the world, I'd say that I have not only a right, but a duty to insult it, as does every rational thinking person on this planet. Again, unclear who he's talking to there, but he had an issue.
Yeah, he certainly did have an issue, and I think that there were more than one contact that had been going on. They were killed execution style. So if the whole story about the parking were accurate, you would think that it would happen at a parking place where there was some kind of an argument. That's not what happened. So the bottom line is that I think there are a lot of facts here. This very well could be a bias-motivated crime. But the real point here is you got 3 lovely young Americans. They were raising money to help refugees in Syria. One of them was a very talented artist, a young married couple, and a young talented college student. And I think that, these young people were extraordinary, but they were not unique in that they're young people who are Muslim, who are doing what other young people around America are doing every day, which is trying to make this a better place, which is trying to contribute their talents to a better America, better world. So I think that is the main point yesterday at Duke. Yesterday there were 10,000 or so, 5,000 people gathered. The chancellor spoke, Dia's mother spoke, and talked about how her son stood for love and how he was against fear and hatred, and we should never turn on each other just because of these horrible tragedies. I mean, I think that is what's right in this short aftermath after the deaths. There will be plenty of time for a police investigation, for justice to prevail, but right now, let's just celebrate the lives of these awesome young people and remember that we have so much more in common. These are not just some Muslims who were killed. This is a husband and a wife. This is 2 sisters. This is a young dentist student, a young artist. There's so much more than just their religious identification.